go home and let us handle this.
Not a chance.
Excuse me?
I said, would you like to dance?
I certainly would.
The question for Elroy Hits the Pavement is, do you enjoy cartoony adventure games that hide the fact that they are edutainment games? If so, you might be in luck. 1 year after Elroy Goes Bugzerk, Headbone Interactive developed 2 more games in the Elroy series, Elroy's Costume Closet and Elroy Hits the Pavement. Elroy's Costume Closet was a dress 'em up and have them acted out sort of fooling around game, and Elroy Hits the Pavement being more of a full-on sequel to Bugzerk. The main plot is that Elroy and his friend Sydney have to create a machine for a class project, or they will be sent to summer school. They promise the teacher a machine called the Revitalizer that will make pet dogs more energetic and less lazy.
Will it make my basset hound stop drooling on the sofa? Absolutely! That will be one of the Revitalizer's capabilities!
While working on the machine, Blue, Elroy's dog, goes missing, and it is up to Elroy to find out where he is and who the mysterious men who are following him. Gameplay is done in a similar manner as the first game, making the main gameplay mechanic a point-and-click adventure, but improving upon its faults. Like the original, you go through the game like a choose-your-own-adventure story. At certain points, you have a choice between different places to visit that will eventually lead to the same usual ending, unless you pick the wrong path toward a game over. So it gives a little replayability to visiting different locations each time you come back to replay the game. One great thing about the improvements is that there is more variety in terms of puzzles. The questionnaires return where you have to answer every question correctly or it's game over. The answers to these questions will be learned by either exploring levels and overhearing conversations, seeing certain objects, or eventually looking at MuckNet. MuckNet will give you all sorts of information for these eventual questions, but since these questions get randomized every time you play, not every bit of information will be used in a single gameplay session. The new puzzles include unjumbling words to understand sentences, moving tumblers to unlock a cage, following directions using a periodic table, making gears turn in the correct direction, and among other things, navigating a maze-like building. The improvements to the game over the original are as follows. Instead of the old save system which had you quit the game every time you saved, it has a map chapter system which allows you to go to any scene you've been to before for either replay purposes or if you hit a game over. With the map chapter system, it also allows for pausing of scenes that are playing if you need to go do something and don't want to miss a cutscene. There are also more skippable scenes, meaning you don't have to listen to most of a scene before a puzzle if you had to restart or you just don't want to hear it. There's also a mixing scene, which is reminiscent of the cake baking puzzle from the first game, but it's cleaned up to be more efficient. So instead of having an animation for each ingredient picked right away, you'll check it off instead, and only play the animation when you hit the big orange button. In the presentation department, it goes for the same look as the first game. Cartoon characters and objects placed on black and white pictures of the real world, allowing as it did in the first game to highlight what was interactive and what was just a backdrop. It worked then and it still works in this sequel, making a unique look for a point-and-click game that also presents itself as a sort of interactive cartoon. The sound effects are nicely cartoony as the original. And the voice actors do a good job portraying the different characters all throughout.
That's it. You did it.
All right! Way to go, Elroy!
Yeah, don't get too excited. Like I said, this is a short-term arrangement.
Blue, you sound so old.
And I'd like to get older, so let's get on with it.
The improvement on this front is that when moving from location to location, you do not have to wait to listen to Elroy talk to himself before moving on like the original. It will still play out as you click on the next door, unless it's interrupted by a different dialogue. Overall, Elroy Hits the Pavement is one of my childhood favorite bits of edutainment. It taught logical, spelling, and information gathering skills, among others, but it did it under the veil of a cartoon adventure. It didn't hit you like a brick like Math Blaster or Logical Journey of Zumbinis. You could hit dead ends if you didn't pick up the right environmental clues, but with the map chapter system, the frustrations of going back to get information were fewer than when it happened in Elroy Goes Bugzerk. I believe the reason why I kept going back to play this game, even after memorizing some of the puzzles, was the fact that there were so many interactive sections that could be missed on one playthrough and seen on another. It is about the same length as the original if you know what you're doing, a bit over an hour, but it offered replayability in the changing questions and the different possible routes. If anything you've seen or heard has got you interested, try it out. Currently, Elroy Hits the Pavement can be found under $10 online. This recording was on the Mac emulator Basilisk, but I was able to play it on Windows 7 32-bit and a virtual PC running Windows 98. Elroy Hits the Pavement was emulated using Basilisk for Windows. Click the links in the description if you're interested in the game shown or using a pre-OS X emulator for Mac or PC. And feel free to message me if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Any comments, likes, dislikes on this video or any of my other videos would be appreciated. My reviews for the games Elroy Goes Bugzerk and Invaders can be checked out by clicking the annotations on this video. If you want to get in contact with me, message me on YouTube or Twitter.